welcome to Short Lessons. Are you ready to master the road and become a confident and responsible driver? Whether you're a seasoned driver looking for a refresher or a new learner eager to navigate the world of traffic laws, you're in the right place. Our channel is your ultimate destination for concise and effective lessons on traffic laws. Join us on this educational journey as we break down complex traffic regulations into bite-sized, easy-to-understand lessons. We're here to provide you with the essential knowledge you need to navigate the streets safely and with confidence. But it doesn't stop there. We know that practice makes perfect, so get ready to put your newfound knowledge to the test with our interactive practice questions. Subscribe to Short Lessons now, and let's hit the road to becoming well-informed, responsible drivers together. Remember, safety first, and the road awaits your expertise. Pedestrians and crosswalks. Drive cautiously when pedestrians are near and may cross your path. When you cross an intersection or make a turn, always yield to a pedestrian. Vehicles also must come to a complete stop when a school crosswalk is occupied, and it is illegal to pass another vehicle if it has stopped for a pedestrian. In Arizona, there are several pedestrian-activated signals that are utilized to help keep pedestrians safe. One of these is the pedestrian hybrid beacon. The pedestrian hybrid beacons, or HOC as they are sometimes called, are often utilized at high-volume pedestrian areas where an intersection crosswalk is not nearby. When a pedestrian wants to cross at one of these locations, they simply press a button. The button activates lights that are above the roadway. When the lights turn red, traffic must come to a complete stop, and it is then safe for the pedestrian to cross the road. Once the red lights start flashing, drivers may proceed as long as the pedestrian has cleared the crosswalk. Besides the solid red and flashing red lights mentioned above, drivers may experience a flashing yellow or solid yellow light. A flashing yellow light indicates that a pedestrian has activated a signal. Once the flashing yellow becomes a solid yellow, be prepared to stop, as the pedestrian is about to begin crossing the roadway. Arizona is starting to see many different colors of crosswalks on city streets. However, Arizona law only has specific laws for those striped either white or yellow. According to Arizona law, a vehicle must yield to a pedestrian in a white-painted crosswalk until the pedestrian has passed the center line of traffic. A yellow-striped crosswalk works the same way unless a portable crosswalk sign stating "No Passing," "School Zone," "Stop when children in crosswalk," or a similar message is present. When a yellow-painted crosswalk is coupled with one of these signs, Arizona law states that the vehicle may not proceed until any pedestrian in that crosswalk has cleared the road entirely. Slow-moving vehicles, farm machinery, wide loads and road maintenance vehicles are not designed for high-speed travel and move slowly. You should watch for them and be prepared to adjust your speed accordingly. These vehicles are often marked with an orange triangular-shaped sign to indicate to other roadway users that the vehicle is moving slowly. Funeral processions. All vehicles must yield the right-of-way to properly marked funeral processions. The leading escort vehicle must display a flashing light, either red or blue. School buses and school zones. School zones are designated in order to protect a high concentration of children around school areas. Children often act erratically and can run into roadways without looking for traffic, so it is important for motorists to be aware of where kids may be. School zones generally have posted slower speed limits. These limits are generally between 15 and 25 miles per hour. Often, fines for speeding in school zones are doubled and there is a high level of enforcement. It is important to be aware when you are nearing a school zone. At certain times of day, drivers can also experience higher concentrations of traffic around school zones. In the early mornings and in the afternoons, parents are generally dropping off or picking up children, causing traffic congestion and slow traffic. Especially since children are involved, it's important to avoid being frustrated in these situations and continue to maintain safe driving practices. School zones often see a higher concentration of school buses as children are dropped off or picked up. Arizona traffic laws state that when encountering a school bus stopped on a roadway, from either direction, the driver of a vehicle shall come to a complete stop before reaching the bus if a stop sign on a mechanical arm is extended from its side and bus is displaying alternating flashing lights. Drivers must remain at a complete stop until the bus begins to move, or when the driver of the bus retracts the mechanical arm extending from the side of the bus. The only exception to this law is when the motorist is separated from the bus by a divided highway. That means the two are separated by a physical barrier, such as a fence, curbing, or separation in the pavement. Nonetheless, drivers should use extra caution when children are about. These school bus laws are enforced regardless of the presence of a school zone or not. It is against the law for a vehicle to pass another in a school crossing zone. Even when no signs are posted, the speed limit when nearing a school crosswalk is 15 miles per hour. Those crosswalks are often controlled by crossing guards helping children cross the road. Drivers must come to a complete stop when the crosswalk is occupied and obey the crossing guard's instructions. Fines in school zones are generally very severe, regardless of the traffic law being broken. Fines for speeding are often doubled, or occasionally tripled. Enforcement is often much higher in these areas as parents want to feel secure that the lives of their children are being protected. Please be aware that these increased fines and increased enforcement is meant to dissuade reckless driving behaviors in areas with high concentration of children. Construction zones. Construction zones are also commonly referred to as temporary work zones. These areas are generally set up for road construction or road maintenance, and could include lane closures or the shifting of traffic into unusual lanes. Construction zones may be marked with permanent signs, temporary signs, or just flashing lights. Orange is the predominant color of warning signs in these areas. Workers who must be on roadways are particularly vulnerable because they are concentrating on work while cars are zooming by. You should be alert in construction zones and be prepared to slow down or stop as traffic speeds can slow down suddenly as unexpected changes in pavement conditions or lane usage happen. Most of the accidents that occur in construction zones occur because of drivers going too quickly and not being able to stop in time as traffic in front of them changes. Additionally, construction equipment often moves more slowly than regular cars and can enter the roadway suddenly as crews try to do their jobs. Highway maintenance vehicles and workers are often next to the travel lanes or may have to enter them. Always obey special signs and instructions while you are in those zones. Speed limits are often reduced in construction zones in order to reduce accidents and to protect the workers of the area. Sometimes these speeds are reduced drastically depending on the conditions. In order to deter people from ignoring these safety measures, fines are doubled in areas where construction is happening. In Arizona, construction zones often have a police officer on duty anytime workers are present. Emergency vehicles, you must yield the right-of-way to a police car, fire engine, ambulance, or other emergency vehicle using a sound or flashing lights. Move to the right and stop until the emergency vehicle has passed. Be especially aware of emergency vehicles at intersections. In order to respond to an emergency situation in the most expedient manner, emergency vehicles will often use creative means to get through an intersection and get around vehicles stopped for a light. The driver shall maintain a distance of at least 500 feet behind a fire department vehicle responding to an emergency. Maintain at least 300 feet behind a police vehicle responding to an emergency. Do not drive into or park your vehicle within the block where the emergency vehicle has stopped to respond to the emergency. Arizona's Move Over law was enacted to protect the lives of drivers, emergency response personnel, and people that are required to work on Arizona's roadways. The law requires motorists to move over one lane, or if it is not safe to move over, to slow down when driving by any vehicle with flashing lights pulled to the side of the roadway. The law is applicable on any freeway, multi-lane highway or city road or street. That law also applies to passing all vehicles by the side of the road displaying a flashing light. These vehicles include emergency response vehicles, tow trucks, maintenance vehicles, tow trucks, and private vehicles with lights such as construction trucks. Failing to comply with Arizona's Move Over law can result in a citation and fine of $150 or more. This fine does not include court fees and other additional costs. Alcohol, DUI, moving violations and criminal violations. Arizona is a no-tolerance state for driving under the influence DUI, meaning you can lose your license on the spot for a blood alcohol content higher than the legal limit of 0.08%. There are 3 types of DUIs, each taking into account your level of intoxication and other factors, including previous convictions and whether a minor was in the vehicle at the time of the violation. The more serious the DUI, the more you can expect to pay in fines and jail time. Definition of DUI: it is unlawful for any person who is under the influence of intoxicating liquor or any drugs to drive or be in physical control of a vehicle. What substances are included? The DUI offense typically relates to alcohol intoxication, but alcohol is just one of countless substances that can impair one's ability to operate a vehicle. Driving under the influence of drugs, including prescription medications, can also result in DUI charges. Degrees of impairment. If you are stopped for driving under the influence and a test shows that you have an alcohol concentration of 0.08% or more 0.04 in a commercial vehicle requiring a commercial driver license, you can be charged with a DUI. Even if the back was less than 0.08%, you could still face a DUI charge if the officer considers you too impaired to drive. Underage drinking and driving. If you are under 21, your license may be suspended if there is any alcohol concentration present. Consent. In the state of Arizona, when you receive a driver's license, you automatically have agreed to consent to being tested for alcohol or drugs if an officer has arrested you for intoxication. If you refuse to submit to a test or fail to complete one successfully, you will automatically lose your driving privilege for 12 months the first time, for 24 months for a second refusal within 84 months. In addition to any criminal penalties imposed by the court for a subsequent DUI violation, your driving privilege will be automatically revoked. DUI penalties and fines. DUI. This category of DUI applies to a person with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 or higher. First offense, you will be jailed for no fewer than 10 consecutive days and fined not less than $1,250. You will also be required to undergo alcohol screening, education, treatment in order to perform community service, and you may be ordered to equip any vehicle you operate with a certified ignition interlock device. Second and subsequent offenses, you will be jailed for no fewer than 90 days and fined not less than $3,000 and your license will be revoked for 12 months. You will also be required to undergo alcohol screening, education, treatment and perform community service, and may be required to equip any vehicle you operate with the interlock device. Extreme DUI. This category of DUI applies to a person with a BAC of 0.15 or higher. First offense, you will be jailed for no fewer than 30 consecutive days and fined not less than $2,500. If your BAC is 0.20 or higher, the jail time will be at least 45 days with no eligibility for a suspended sentence. You will also be required to undergo alcohol screening, education, treatment, be ordered to perform community service, and required to equip any vehicle you operate with a certified ignition interlock device. Second and subsequent offenses, you will be jailed for no fewer than 120 days, fined not less than $3,250 and your license will be revoked for 12 months. You will also be required to undergo alcohol screening, education, treatment, equip any vehicle you operate with the interlock device and perform community service. Aggravated DUI. This category of DUI applies to a person who commits a DUI with a license that is suspended, revoked or cancelled, commits a third DUI in 84 months, commits a DUI while a person under 15 is in the vehicle or commits another DUI while under an ignition interlock device requirement. You will be sent to prison for not more than 2 years, and, in addition to any other penalty required by law, your license will be revoked for 1 year. You will also be required to undergo alcohol screening, education, treatment and equip any vehicle you operate with the interlock device. Thank you for joining us on this leg of your journey at Short Lessons. We hope you found our traffic laws lesson informative and engaging. But don't slam on those brakes just yet, there's more to explore in part 2. We'll dive deeper into the world of traffic regulations and continue to provide you with valuable insights and practice questions that will help you ace your traffic school exams. So, buckle up and get ready for the next installment. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. Until then, drive safe and see you in part 2.